Have you ever seen two studies on the same topic? One says S causes Y, another says S has no effect on Y, and you are left wondering who is lying? Now, here is the comfortable truth. In many cases, nobody is lying. The results are actually wrong because the data was wrong. Today, I'm going to show you why many research results fail, contradict each other, or even get rejected by journal. Not because of bad statistics, but because of poor data cleaning and weak data integrity. If you have ever rushed to use SPSS, Excel, R, Starter, or even Python without checking your data properly, this video is for you. My name is Dr. Felix Ayodele Oyeleye, and this is Research and Statistics. In this video, I want to show you why many research results are actually wrong. And this is traceable to the problem of data integrity. By the end of this video, you will understand why good analysis cannot fix bad data. Number two, the three pillars of research quality data. Number one is data completeness. Number two is data cleanness. And number three is data integrity. Now, number three, we're also going to look at how poor data quality silently destroy research credibility. And finally, number four, we're going to look at a simple pre-analysis checklist you can actually start using today, even as a researcher or a postgraduate student. And if you stick with me to the end of this video, I will give you a simple framework that can literally save your thesis, paper, or even project from rejection. Now, let's get started. Now, the question is, why are many research results considered wrong? Number one, let me start with a principle that sounds simple but deeply powerful, and that is the principle of garbage in and garbage out. The concept of garbage in and garbage out is not just a cliche. It is a research principle. In research, this actually means if your data is wrong, incomplete, inconsistent, or manipulated, your results, no matter how advanced your statistics, will be unreliable. You may run regression, analysis of variance, machine learning model, structural equation model, but statistics only analyze what you fed them. They don't magically correct error in your data. And this is why journals reject papers, supervisors criticize thesis, and policymakers lose trust in research, and replication studies actually fail. The problem is not always with the methods. The problem is what happened before the analysis. And that brings us to the data pipeline. Let's look at the research process. The first thing you want to do in the research process is to collect data, and then you move to cleaning data, and then data validation, data analysis, and results. Most people are actually excited about analysis, results, p-values, charts, and table. But the real work happens quietly in the middle, and that is in the area of data cleaning and data validation. If these steps are rushed or skipped, everything that follows become questionable. Think of it like building a house. If the foundation is weak, the most beautiful building design will still collapse. Now, let's break down the three pillars of research quality data. Number one is data completeness. Data completeness simply means, do you have enough valid, no missing data to answer your research question? Common problems. Number one, participants skipped key questions. Number two, follow-up data is missing. And number three, important variables are not recorded. entire outcomes field becomes empty. For example, you are studying factors associated with blood pressure, but 30% of your data set is missing blood pressure value. Your conclusions are now based on a partial and possibly biased sample. Why why is this dangerous? Missing data dey reduces statistical power. It can introduce systematic bias. Your sample may no longer represent the entire population. Now, here is the scary part. Missing data is often not random. For example, seekers patients may drop out. Poorer respondents may skip income questions. Busy professionals may avoid long survey. So, your clean looking data set may actually reflect only a privileged or healthier subgroup. Now, good research practice requires that you quantify the missing data, report it transparently, and then you want to decide how to handle it properly. Silence about missing data is usually a red flag in peer review. The next component of data quality is data cleanness. Data cleanness means your data set is free from error, duplicates, inconsistency, and impossible values. Let's be honest, most raw data are messy. Common issue, the age may give you 200, somebody may write 250 for age. Male may be marked as pregnant. Duplicate record, typographical error, inconsistent coding, like you have male, male, and M, or even M, treated as different categories. This may look small, but they have big statistical consequences. And outliers from a data error can shift your mean either to the positive end or to the negative end. It may even inflate your standard deviation or change the significance of your entire result. Now, a duplicate record can artificially increase your sample size, bias your estimate, and even mislead your conclusion. This is why data cleaning is not optional, it is scientific hygiene. Good data cleaning involves range check. You want to check if the range is correct. Logical inconsistency check. You want to also check duplicate detection, proper recording of variables, documenting every step you actually took. Remember this, if you cannot explain how your data was cleaned, you cannot defend your results. Now, let's talk about something deeper, which is data integrity. Data integrity is about authenticity, transparency, traceability, and ethical handling of your data. It answers questions like, where did this data come from? And was it collected according to protocol? Has it been altered? Can someone else verify it? Many high profile research scandals are not about wrong statistics. They are usually about fabricated data, selective deletion, manipulated record, or even poor documentation. Now, even honest mistake can look suspicious when there's no data dictionary, no metadata, no clean audit trail. Globally, high quality research demands a clear documentation, secure storage, version control, ethical approval, and compliance. Because research is not just about getting results, it is about earning trust. Now, here is the big idea. You don't earn credibility at the analysis stage, you earn credibility at the data preparation stage. Credible research is reproducible, transparent, defensible, And that rests on a complete data, clean data, high integrity data. If your data is actually weak, your findings may mislead policy, your conclusion may misinform practice, your work may even fail replication, your reputation as a researcher suffers at the end of the day. So, in other words, bad data does not just produce wrong results, it produces harmful decisions. So, what are the pre-analysis checklists that you must take note of, either as a postgraduate student, an early researcher, or any individual that is involved in statistical analysis? The first thing you want to ensure before you run any data is to ask yourself the question, and the question is on the completeness of your data. Do I have enough valid data to answer my research question? Number two, cleanness. Have I checked for errors, duplicates, and inconsistency? Number three, can I clearly explain where this data actually come from or how it was handled? If you can't confidently answer these three questions, you are not ready for analysis. Now, if this video actually helped you, do these three things. Like the video, share it with a student or a researcher who always rushes into analysis. Subscribe for more content on research methods, data analysis, and academic success. Remember, you can't clean your conclusion if you didn't clean your data. I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for listening.